Hi and welcome to the 24/7 video blog. I'm Svetlina, Managing Director of 24/7, an anti-trafficking human rights organization. I'll be hosting this video. In this episode, I would like to tell you about men who buy sex and what that means to the trafficked women and the anti-trafficking movement. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share to spread the word. Within the English-speaking world, men who buy sex are commonly referred to as Johns, mongers, or punters. In recent years, mongers has become a common term for the costumer or John. It's taken from whoremonger, which basically means pimp or one who deals with prostitutes. The origin of punter is a little more difficult. The word means to gamble or bet against. Punter also could be a British term meaning boat. It is possible the term punter originated with sailors leaving the boats to visit prostitutes. As my audience is mostly American, and in the hopes of staying politically correct and avoiding slang, we will utilize the term John for this video. The term John originated sometime in the early 20th century. It may simply have been a habit of clients giving the fake name John, or it could have been derived from John Doe, which was a name originally used in delicate legal proceedings to ensure discretion in a court. This practice was stopped sometimes around 1850s, but the name used for discretion purposes may have continued. What can be said about the Johns who purchase sex? It's not a simple question. The answer is even more complex. Studies have been done in countries where buying sex illegally and in countries where buying sex is legal. What the studies have found is there is a consistently no reliable profile of John. A John may be of any age, any race, any sexual orientation, any economic background, divorced, married, a member of the clergy, a layman, a Democrat, a Republican. He may be disabled or he could be a star athlete, he may be wealthy or he could be poor, some have kids, some do not. A John can be anyone or everyone. He can be any of the things I just mentioned or none of them. There really is no profile for a John, which makes identifying them nearly impossible. What do we know about the Johns is that buying sex crosses cultural barriers. A study conducted in Sweden found in the Netherlands, where prostitution is legal, an estimated 40% of the male population purchases sex. The same study identified that within the United States, where the purchase of sex is illegal, about 16 to 20% of the population purchases sex. According to Hydra, an organization which provides aid to prostitutes in Germany, almost 40% of the male population in Spain are Johns. As per the same study in Thailand, where prostitution is illegal but tolerated, an estimated 95% of the male population has purchased a prostitute. There does not seem to be a correlation between the legality of buying sex and the percent of men who do it. Many studies have been conducted trying to find what type of men buy sex and why. What one scientist claims, another often refuses. Some social scientists believe men buy sex in order to control women. Some studies have indicated men who buy are driven by chauvinistic motives, such as a desire to dominate and subjugate women. In 1994, psychologist Dieter Kleber of the Free University of Berlin had some 600 Johns fill out the Freiburg Personality Inventory looking for psychological deficiencies. The only correlation he found applied to risk-taking and unprotected sex. For example, married and well-to-do customers practiced unprotected sex more frequently than others. while the men who demanded sex without condoms tended to score higher on aggression. Kleber concluded, the more secure and orderly a man's life is, the more he believes in his own invulnerability. Other studies have indicated men are buying sex as a type of needed intimacy, and buying sex is therapeutic to them. An article from 2012 published in Scientific America titled Why Do Men Buy Sex? Cited that many men ask prostitutes intimate questions both before and after the act of sex. Things such as what is your real name, tell me about your family, and where are you originally from were all frequently asked questions by John. Questions like those show a genuine effort to find out about the girls as a person beyond just objectification most people associate with hookers. I also have personally known many prostitutes who do have built solid friendships and sometimes romantic relationships with clients. Additionally, therapeutic prostitution also has historical and folklore references. In the epic of Gilgamesh, a friend of the king, who is half wild, is civilized by having sex with a prostitute. The tale portrays the prostitute as a sacred because she sacrificed herself to the man to cleanse him of destructive inner forces. There may be something to say for the abilities of the prostitutes to understand and tame the man. The famous courtesan Veronica Franco is credited with using her abilities as a prostitute to save Venice. Later, due to her ability to bewitch men, she was accused of witchcraft, but was subsequently saved from the Inquisition by her many wealthy and influential Johns. Perhaps based upon the two stories I just mentioned, male aggression plays a key role in purchasing sex. Regardless of whether men buy sex due to a personality disorder or because they simply enjoy sex, I believe we might be able to use their solicitations to help in our anti-trafficking efforts. Many countries have criminalized the buying of sex in order to disrupt the demand in the illicit sex trade. If you have not already, please, you might talk all the economics of sex trafficking. Regardless of what type of man purchase sex and regardless of his motives are, we know on average, according to the study Who Buys Sex by Demand Abolition, 20% of the male population buy sex over their lifetime. 6% purchase sex on a regular basis. If we consider 1/5 of the male population will visit sex workers, and we also consider not all of them are visiting sex workers due to some sort of mental disorder, why aren't we using them to help identify human trafficking? Efforts have been made not to criminalize a victim of trafficking. Wouldn't it follow logically that we would not prosecute and criminalize a John if they made a report of suspected trafficking? With the current legal situation in many countries, Johns would be hesitant to report human trafficking as they could face criminal prosecution for making such a report. After all, making the call to authorities is also a confession that they attempt to solicit sex for hire. I was lucky in that when I was a victim, I was trafficked to a place where prostitution was legal. And it was a John who understood my situation and came to my aid. Being that he was a Dutch and had an understanding the legal system in Holland, he helped me escape my trafficker. He assisted me in the securing housing and legitimate work. He also assisted me in making a police report which helped lead to my trafficker's conviction many years later. I'm not sure women who have been trafficked to other parts of Europe, Canada, and the United States, where the buying of sex is illegal, would have a similar outcome. I was in a part safer because the law presented no risk to my job. Please, do not misunderstand. Purchasing sex is not a victimless crime, and the purchase of sex by Johns perpetuates the demand which contributes to human trafficking. I saw many Johns before one finally helped me, but I might have escaped sooner if other Johns were familiar with the signs of human trafficking. On February 2nd, 2024, Super Bowl Sunday, 24/7 decided to play some game interference. We had men post fake prostitution advertisements on the websites, which are similar to the now seized page. When Johns called their numbers looking for sex, the 24/7 volunteers would answer the phone and do their best to educate the callers, utilizing a script about the horrors of human trafficking. The results experienced by the male volunteers were mixed. Some just get angry, others hang up, but several listened and articulated surprised, sometimes soulful apology, simply not realizing the harm they were doing. It is possible reaching these men made a difference by interrupting the cycle of demand. We believe at last for that night we prevented some men from utilizing trafficked women, and maybe we helped the girl from being forced at one last time. 24/7 did reported frequent callers to the Human Trafficking Task Force. There is an aside proverb: an enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think this proverb might be applicable in helping to stop human trafficking. 20% of the male population are Johns, which means 20% of the male population is creating demand, which fuels trafficking. Although this fact is sickening, it may also be an opportunity. Let us be unbased for a moment. Which is the less moral and sometimes legal crime? The person who procures what they believe is innocent sex, or the trafficker who has beaten, threatened, forced, coerced, or otherwise abused the girl into the enslaved life she is living? If given in the proper training and incentive, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume a John would or could notice if a girl is exhibiting signs of human trafficking? Their reporting and testimony could easily assist in an arrest and prosecution against traffickers, especially considering the circumstances of their encounter with the girl. In essence, studies have found lots of men from every facet of all societies are Johns. Johns do drive demand for the illicit sex market, but a complete criminalization of buying sex may not reduce demand of this activity and certainly does not provide any opportunity for Johns to assist victims and law enforcement in the fight against human trafficking. I hope you find this discussion thought-provoking and insightful. As always, please like and share and subscribe. Thank you for your time.